Hello everybody and welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Christian Skoggs and Alien Romulus is finally out in theaters. Was it any good? Honestly, it depends on what kind of film enjoyer you are, so let's just talk about it. This is the, Jesus Christ, 9th movie in the Alien franchise, if you count the AVP movies, and it really feels like they went back to their roots with this one. In regards to my thoughts on the Alien franchise, the only ones I've seen are Alien, Aliens, Alien Covenant, and some of Prometheus. Those first two Alien movies are iconic, and it's understandable why Fox would be so intent on keeping this franchise going for as long as they could. They're great movies, and in theory should be a good jumping off point for some really great sequels. The reason I haven't seen most of the other films is because I hear they're less than exceptional. I suppose now that they're all on Disney Plus, I might give them a shot, but they never really were that interesting to me to begin with. Alien Romulus takes place in between Alien and Aliens and tells the story of a girl named Rain who's trapped on a mining colony with her brother. She runs into some old friends who propose a plan to hijack an abandoned ship and use the cryogenic chambers on board to escape to another planet. Once they reach the spaceship, though, they quickly discover that there are xenomorphs on board, and they now have to find a way to escape. What made those first two Alien movies so good is that they were able to do a lot with a very simple premise. The first one in particular is a very simple chamber piece, but the imagery, sound design, and overall thrills within it propel that movie to the legendary status that it holds today. I'll give this movie credit in that it basically went back to its roots in all the best of ways. It was relatively easy to follow, the characters are likable enough, and the setting of this film was very well utilized. The cinematography, production design, and practical effects were all very well done, and this movie is best experienced on a big screen. I'm really glad it did eventually get a theatrical release because if you remember, this movie was originally intended to go straight to Hulu, which, let's be real, would not have been as fun. I still remember when Prey went straight to Hulu, and although I enjoyed it, I could not get over the fact that I was always thinking about how much more I would have enjoyed it if I had seen it on a big screen. It's a bit slow to start, and the dialogue can be a little bit boring, but this movie really picked up once they actually got on that spaceship and encountered the main threat. All the sequences thereafter are very exciting, and I genuinely found it all to be scary. The film constantly kept me on the edge of my seat, and this was further propelled by all the designs of the xenomorphs, which obviously were great. There's one creature in the finale of this movie that I won't spoil, but it just might be one of the most unsettling designs for a creature I've seen in a film in a long time. When this creature first appeared, you could hear someone in the audience go, "Oh no." That's how you know the designers of this creature did a good job. The xenomorph in general is already just so scary, and truth be told, you really have to fuck up your movie to make this creature not scary. And when it comes to all the sequences with the creatures, they're great. The film itself is getting a mostly mixed response from critics and fans. Some people really liked this one, and others thought it was a disappointment. And while I can say personally I really liked it, it's easy to see why some folks out there would be frustrated by this. An inclusion of a certain character here that's introduced around the halfway mark was a less than ideal choice for me. The film itself is filled with fan service, and it mostly feels disingenuous in its efforts to be nostalgic. Disney's been doing this lately with all of their Fox properties, which is for sure frustrating. As much as I like the first Omen, that ending sort of felt like a Marvel movie in that it seemingly set up the next one, which honestly took me out of the overall experience. I also just get the impression that a lot of these Fox movies are now infused with a Disney energy to them. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Deadpool and Wolverine both felt this way to me. And while that's not a bad thing necessarily, especially since these movies are still committing to showing more adult situations, the formula in place for these movies is still very much there and very recognizable. I will say though, I do get why Disney would choose to go down this route because this formula still makes them a lot of money. Deadpool and Wolverine in fact is now the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, so whatever they're doing over there is very much working for them. As for this movie, it's very fun but admittedly feels like The Force Awakens for Alien. It's a familiar story with callbacks to the original that, while not the best in the franchise, is still overall fairly solid. Whether you will enjoy this movie or not entirely depends on your reaction to said fan service. I think if this movie wasn't scary or well shot, I really wouldn't like this movie at all, but the things that work here work really well. As for my rating, right now it's a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you thought of Alien Romulus if you have seen it, and what have your thoughts been on the new Fox movies now that Disney has bought them out? You think this is a good direction to go with their properties, and what are you hoping they do in the future? Hope you're all doing okay out there, and until next time.